and if you click on it, it should have a button saying start recording. But maybe it is. Maybe I
Yeah,
am
it doesn't.
recording
It's
it.
It
not
already
showing.
started recording.
It's already.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just clicked that. So
Awesome.
okay.
Thank you. When it's over, then we'll
Yeah, I
post
think
it.
this will not go that long because most of the stuff I covered it last time. So I think you already have the recording from last time, right, Amber,
Yes.
on the YouTube?
Yeah, Katie did that for me. But for
Okay.
some reason, I don't know. Maybe I guess it's the presenter now is only able to record. I'm not sure why I wasn't. It's grayed out for me, but thank
Okay.
you for recording.
Yes. Okay, I think we can get started. You can see my screen.
I can't see.
You can or you can't.
I can.
How about everyone else? Good.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. I think we covered most of it. Only like few slides were left, so we can start from there. Does anyone recall where we stopped? Which slide it was? I think it was design waivers, right? That's where we stopped. Can anyone confirm that or not sure? Okay, I think I covered the design waivers. So anytime we don't have ADA compliancy, then we need to submit the design waiver. So, and there is no guarantee that they will approve it, you know. So most of the times we should try to have full ADA compliancy. So the next slide is identifying common issues. So I have some slides where we have some common issues. Let's go through that. Okay, let's see who can figure this one out. Who wants to go for this one? Raise your hand. Anybody?
I can go for it. if you
Okay,
want
you
me
can
to.
go for it, Shaq. Is that you?
The push button is too far.
Yes.
On this one, the one on the left side.
Yeah, the left
The
side
ramp is
also the same thing. It's too far. You don't have the level landing. You need to have
yeah,
like 5x5 level landing, and it's not
yeah,
there.
yeah. The ramp is
So,
sloped.
yeah,
It's detectable is on the sloped ramp.
correct. So this is which ramp is this? Not you, Shaq. So let's see who can answer this. Which kind of ramp is this? Gerard, go ahead, man. What kind of ramp this is? We have three types, right? So which one is this on the
This
left
is
side?
the parallel ramp.
Parallel ramp.
Yeah.
Okay, Wahid is here. Wahid, do you agree?
I think it's perpendicular.
Oh,
The one
yeah,
on the
it's
left,
perfect.
right?
Yes, it is perpendicular, and the reason for that is you have that level landing in the back. Okay, on the right side, what is your answer, Shaq? You said the push button is far, right?
Yeah, the wheelchair
What is
cannot access it. It's too
okay?
far.
Yeah, what is the criteria? Can you let us know? I mean, I covered it last time, but you can mention it again.
I don't remember. I think it's 1.5 feet or 2 feet. I don't remember. It has to be
Yeah,
within that landing level landing area.
I think it's 18 inches, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
So the wheelchair person, he should be able to extend his arm and should be able to reach it, right? So I think this one is far and he won't be able to reach it. So I think it is 18-inch or 24-inch.
I believe it's 18-inch.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, I mean, the theory part I already covered in my last presentation, so this is just interactive session. So let's see who can go and answer this one. Let me see who else is here. Okay, let's give Rachel chance on this one. Rachel, take a shot. Go, I mean, the left picture, you see it, right?
Yeah.
What is the issue you think?
It looks like it looks like I can't tell. I'm assuming maybe it's like sloped incorrectly or something. It's incorrect slope.
Okay, how about the right one? Do you have, can you find out the issue on the right side, right picture?
I guess like I don't know if there's like two curbs right there supposed to be like, is that standard or not?
Okay, all right. Let's see who else is here. Okay, Michael is here. Michael, go ahead, man. Let us know what do you think the issue here for both pictures.
So the picture on the left, there doesn't really appear to be 5x5 landing area. That
Correct.
radius slab may be acceptable, but most likely is not. And then on the right, the push button might be too far away, but looks like it might be okay.
Yeah, I think on the left side, like you said, I don't see 5x5 level landing area. I mean, the slopes also doesn't look like 2%. So
Right.
that is an issue over there. On the right side, I don't see detectable warning surface in that cut through. I mean, there is
What is the detectable warning surface?
and
It's a
also
dome.
if you look at on the other side, you see that pole is way far from the level landing area on the other side.
Yeah.
So that those are the issues on this one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, let's see who else is here. Okay, Jeremy, it's your turn, Chief. Go ahead. Let's see what is the issue here.
This is the perfect design.
Jeremy, you can hear, I mean, we can't hear you, man. If you are talking, we can't hear you. Okay, if not Jeremy, I'm going to give another chance to Rachel. Go ahead, Rachel. Look at it and let me know what you think is the issue here.
I think it's the crosswalks like not lined up with that detectable warning surface.
Absolutely, yeah. See, you have the ramps, but the crosswalks are somewhere else. So either ramp should be moved or the crosswalk should be aligned, right? That's the solution for that.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it right. Okay, this is also another picture of the same location. See how it is. I mean, the ramp is over here, but the crosswalk is telling people to go into that pole or something. So it is not right. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, who wants to, let me see. Solomon, take a shot, man. I know you might not be familiar with this one. I'm not sure if you attended this last time. What do you think is the issue? Okay, Solomon,
I'm not sure.
you can,
I'm not sure about this.
okay, I can understand. I mean, Jerry, okay, let's give it to our Tim. Tim, can you let us know what do you think the issue over here is?
It looks like it's not level. It's 19.2 degrees.
Yeah, percentage. Yeah. So what do you think should be the percentage? What range?
Well, it has to be 12 to 1 slope.
Yes, 12 to 1 or 2% also. If it is a parallel ramp, then it has to be, you know. So,
The
okay, you
major
got it
issue
right.
with this
Plus also the way the person is measuring the slope is
measuring,
not right.
yeah.
You know, you should not press it like that. You should put it at a level area and not force it like this. So,
And on top of this, it looks like the person is measuring the slope half on the slope,
yeah,
half on the gutter pan, half on
yes,
the detectable. So when you
correct.
measure the slope, you measure everything on the detectable. You don't need to measure the gutter pan. Gutter pan, you're not doing anything.
Yes,
So
correct.
there will be 3-inch lip between the gutter pan and the detectable, 2-inch actually, 2-inch or 3-inch lip between the gutter pan and the detectable warning surface. So all
Yeah,
the measurements that you do, it has to be either on the ramp or on the level landing area or the sidewalk. You don't need to measure the gutter pan.
yes. And one more thing I mentioned to you guys in my previous presentation that whenever we are measuring this, first thing you need to do is calibrate it in the office or somewhere before you even measure anything. And also make sure you have a good amount of battery, because there were instances that sometimes you take this inclinometer to the field and there is no battery. I mean, nowadays you can get it, you have to go to Home Depot or do something, but that's one thing. And also the what do you call is it in percentage or is it in degrees? You need to be careful about that. Sometimes accidentally you might hit the button and it's measuring in degrees, but you make the note that it's percentage, so which is not right. So make sure about that when you doing these measurements. Okay. Okay. This is the next one. Go ahead, Gerard. It's yours. Go ahead. Let us know what do you think is the issue here.
There's not a 5x5 landing area, level landing area,
Okay.
and it doesn't look like a standard ramp. And the
Yeah.
detectable warning surface is greater than, it doesn't, it's greater than 2 feet, but
Yeah,
I
but
guess
the
it can be
5
as
by
big as it one.
yeah 5x5 landing. Okay. By the way, what kind of ramp are you gonna fit here? Which kind?
You probably want to you could put a parallel ramp or a perpendicular one, but
No, you
probably
cannot put perpendicular here, because perpendicular you have a criteria. It has to be more than 8 or 11 feet. I mean, you need to have like how much? There is a chart in the manual where you need to
You need
have
to
like
have
11
13
or
feet total.
yeah 13,
13
right?
feet total.
Total to
So
put
you
that
need to have,
perpendicular.
well, for 6-inch curb, 8-inch curb. Most of the curves on SHA roadways are 8-inch curves. Sometimes they can be 6-inch. So if
Yeah.
everything, the ramp size basically depends on the height of the curb. So
Yeah.
let's say if your height of the curb is 8-inch, Then you go behind for perpendicular ramp, your running slope is 12 to 1, at 12 to 1, that means 8 feet. You need to have 12 to 1 at 8 feet. And that running slope, behind the running slope, you will need to have 8 feet, 5 feet landing area, 5 by 5. So 5 feet plus 8 feet is 13 feet total you need to have behind. And when you measure, you see where that yellow measuring the leveler is, the leveling equipment is on this picture. The measurement of 5 feet has to be at the back of the sidewalk. So on radius, you cannot measure the 5 feet landing at the detectable warning surface. It has to be at the back of the sidewalk. So the back of the sidewalk dimension can be 5 feet, but because it's on the radius, the other side of the level landing area can be more than 5 feet, but the back one should be always 5 feet. So when you say level
Yeah.
landing area 5 by 5, it can be 5 by 10, 5 by 6, 5 by 7,
Yes.
but it's multiple of 5.
Yeah, that's a good
Always.
point you brought up, Shaq. I mean, when we do these ramps in the CAD, you always do the perpendicular line. First of all, they have some tools where you can just click and place the ramp. And if it doesn't work, then you have to manually design the ramp using the perpendicular command. And like Shaq said, the back has to be always 5, but the front, it could be more than 5. So that's a good point. Okay, and like I said before, if this is an existing ramp, it needs to meet all the criteria. I mean, all the slope flares should be as per the guideline, and the widths should be per guideline. You need to have detectable, and the ramp condition also should be good. It should not have any cracks or anything. If all these criteria are not met, then you have to redesign it. So I'm going to share the manual where we have the criteria where we can use these kind of ramps.
On
You
this
guys,
picture, Habib,
go ahead,
if
Zach.
if you can give me control, I wanted to show something to engineers.
Okay,
If you can give me
let me.
control.
Yeah, you requested it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So what we were talking about was the dimension it has to be 5 feet here. If you make sure that this dimension level landing area, I mean, in this case, it's going to be parallel ramp, but this dimension has to be 5 feet.
Yeah,
When you put this dimension 5 feet, this dimension can be more than 5 feet. It can be 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, whatever it is. You don't worry about that. And another one is, this is the parallel ramp. So basically parallel ramp in the sense, you will be placing the landing parallel to the sidewalk. In the perpendicular ramp, basically your travel path, you come here and then you stand at the landing and you cross your landing, your direction will be different. Perpendicular. That's why it's called perpendicular.
yeah,
And
and
in
the
this ramp,
level landing will be in the back of the.
yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Level landing will be in the back, and level landing in the parallel ramp, level landing will be in the middle. And on top of this, when you have this parallel ramp, you see the picture right here, there is no sidewalk on the other side. You see sidewalk on this side, but there is no sidewalk on this side. When there is no sidewalk on this side, there's no point of placing this concrete pad.
Play.
People just
Yeah.
come here and they travel in this direction. They cross the road. There is no sidewalk. Nobody goes this way. So in certain instances, you don't need to place this. What you can do is you can just delineate it with a curb. So bring this curb, bring it back, and just make sure that people don't go beyond this, because there's no point of wheelchair traveling this and stopping right on this concrete
Yes,
pad.
your concrete flare. I mean, you're right about this,
Yes.
Shaq, but it all depends on the client. Sometimes they want us to do this flare because in the future they want to do another connection. So that's why sometimes they will request it. Otherwise, what you can do, like Shaq mentioned, you can just put a curb and end it, or use a 2-foot flare and end it.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so let me take over check. You guys still see my screen? I mean, I have the chart which shows the criteria where you can use different kinds of ramps. You guys see that or no? No,
No, I
right?
don't see it.
Okay,
We don't see it.
let me reshare it again. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the chart where it shows what kind of ramps can be used when you have the sidewalk width. Suppose the sidewalk width is 8 foot or less, then the possibility of putting perpendicular ramp is 0. You cannot put perpendicular, you can't put a diagonal, but you can put parallel and the combination. So you need to determine which of these two you can fit. So same thing. I mean, if the sidewalk width is 8 to 12, then you can fit in these three. And if it is 12 or more, then you can fit any of these. So you just need to use your engineering judgment and go with whichever is the best option. And if it is less, then you can fit these three. And if it is larger radii, then you can fit these. And the islands, you can fit the perpendicular and the parallel perpendicular. So just wanted to show those. You want to add anything on that, Shaq?
No, I think this you're good.
Okay. Let's go back to the slides. Okay. All right, next one is this picture. You guys can see it or it's still loading? You can see it, right? The picture?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, Kwaku is here. Hey, Kwaku, go ahead, man. We are just looking at some pictures and seeing what kind of issues these ramps have. So you can take a shot and let us know what you think is the issue with this ADA component or ADA feature. Go ahead. You can see it. We cannot hear you if you're talking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Let us know what you think is an issue with this ADA sidewalk.
Second, let me see the screen. Can't see the full screen.
You
Can only
can't see
up
it?
to the pole.
Okay, how about now? You can see it?
Yep.
Okay.
So it looks like what's supposed to be the landing area seems to be steeper than 2%, right? In this case.
Yeah,
So
first
there's
of all,
no,
is this the right kind of ramp? That's my
no,
question to you.
it should be parallel.
Okay, and they're trying to do like a perpendicular here, right?
Correct. So there's no real landing area. Looks like they sloped that, what should be the landing area. Looks like they sloped at like 8.3, or
Yes.
it's definitely steeper than 2%. So
Yes, so they were thinking that it's a perpendicular ramp and they tried to place it, but it should be parallel ramp over here. Another issue is there also. Can you tell us what that could be?
is it the pole offset?
Yes. Pole is where
Too
it should
close
be,
to
I
the
think.
back of, yeah, it's too
It
close to the
should be
back of the car.
it should be close to the level landing area where the wheelchair person can extend his or her arm to reach out to that push button, you know. So, okay,
I
anybody
can
else?
I
You
can
want?
I can understand why they constructed it this way. Because they should have moved the ramp close to the pole. The pole location is fine because they cannot put the pole or foundation
Yeah.
for that pedestrian pole on a pipe. It looks like there is a pipe behind it, the outfall
Yes.
right
Yes.
behind the sidewalk. The pole location cannot be changed, so maybe pole should
Yeah.
should stay there, but the sidewalk should be moved. Crosswalk should be moved back to
Correct.
Yeah, it
the
should
pole
be closer
location.
to the, yeah,
Yeah,
or even at the corner.
basically the landing has to be moved close to that pole.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, since you are here, Kwaku, go ahead, man. This is also easy one. Go ahead. What you think is the issue here?
Let me see. So is this just an inlet?
No, I mean, yeah, it has the inlet.
This is an back opening inlet.
Yeah. So, what happened? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I see clear. Are those holes there? Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a clear issue. Could be a tripping hazard.
Yes. Yep. That's the issue, and I mean, even though what happens sometimes, these could be new and they might look flat to you on visual inspection, but sometimes when you measure these, even the new ramps, you will be surprised to see the slope will not be, compliant. Okay, so this what has to be the slope, cross slope, Kwaku?
2%.
2%. If it is new, how much tolerance it has?
Like plus or minus 0.5, 0.05, or no, 0.5%.
Is that true, Shaq?
Should be 1% tolerance.
Yeah,
If it's
1%
3%, that's
1%?
fine. If it's 1%, yeah.
Yeah.
So construction tolerance is 1% error. So
Yes.
basically, that means for 2% slope, it can be 3% or it can be 1%. They both are compliant
Yes.
in proposed condition. But if it's ramp, same thing with the ramp. It can be
If it is only new
9%.
construction, not the old ones.
Yeah.
We are talking
Yeah.
about new.
Is that based on client? Because I've done a Montgomery County job where they.
No, it is in the manual. You can read it.
Oh, the
If you
ADA
go
manual.
in the ADA manual, it's clearly mentioned. If it is new construction, it is 1% tolerance.
Okay.
You have.
Okay.
Otherwise,
If you guys want, I can.
No,
if
no,
you
we
want, I
have
can
it.
share the screen.
No, no,
Oh,
we know.
you have that.
Yeah, I have that. I mean, which page was it? Do you recall?
Page 14.
Page 14. Yes. Okay, let me share the screen. Just 1 minute. Okay, you can see that, right? Kwaku?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so for new sidewalk, the cross slope can be plus or minus 1%. So, but the old ones, it has to meet the, 2% criteria if it is the sidewalk.
And I think sometimes clients change this, right? Because I've dealt with a client in the past that told us to provide a 0.5% construction tolerance.
SHA client?
No, Montgomery County.
Yeah, it depends on the client too. I mean,
Yeah, but
SHA
if it's
goes above and beyond.
yeah, I mean, if it's SHA is going to review it, then they will, not approve it if it's going through the review process. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kwaku. Let's go to someone else. This is
no
very
problem.
easy. So I will go with Solomon. Go ahead, Solomon. This is very easy. That's why I'm going with you. I know you're not familiar with ADA stuff, but what do you think is the issue here?
I can see that the sidewalk is damaged.
Yes.
And yeah, it has to be fixed because it is, as Kwaku said earlier, a trip hazard may be there, and it may damage also further, the
Okay, yeah,
foundation.
you're right. Sidewalk is damaged. I will go to Gerard now. Go ahead, Gerard. Let us know what issues you might think because of this sidewalk damage. What issues there could be because of that? What criteria it doesn't meet because of that damaged sidewalk portion?
Um, just as far as they need, 5 feet width just to cross, walk or roll down the sidewalk. There's not enough room for a wheelchair. They could fall, tip over.
Okay, what is the minimum, absolute minimum you need to have?
4 feet. I mean, that's, I guess, with a waiver, but you need standard is 5 feet.
No, the absolute minimum is 36 inch, right?
It's like, yeah, you can have 36 inches every 200 feet for
Yeah.
passing area.
Not true. I think every 200 feet is the passing zone is only, is it, no, I don't think it's 36 inch. 36 inch,
32
even if it's absolute minimum is 32, but even if it's 36 inch, you need to have waiver though.
Yes, with waiver, I'm talking
Every time,
about with waiver.
yeah, with
I mean,
waiver, every
always you
time
need to have 5x5. I mean, you need to have
5 feet.
60 inch.
Yeah, I think
And
anything under 5 feet requires a waiver.
Recommended and preferable, but I was asking what is the absolute minimum, because there will be some instances where you cannot provide 5, and then you can try to apply for a waiver, which there is a chance they might reject it. But if there is a valid reason, and there is no, if you exhausted all the options and there is absolutely nothing you can do, then you have that minimum option with a waiver. So
Yeah, and I have something like a situation where I've dealt with this is like when constructing, I had a huge job when constructing driveways, we had to taper down the sidewalk to 32 inches so that the tie-ins
Yeah.
wouldn't extend all the way back to their houses. So we provided 32-inch sidewalk width every 200 feet in front of driveways to avoid impact to their properties or significant impact to their properties.
Yeah, you're right. Bump outs every 200 feet. You provide the bump outs.
yeah,
If
you
it's
have
not
to.
there.
It's called passing zones basically, and you have the standard in the manual also. You need to follow that to provide those. 654 is something, right? O2 or something.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Tim.
So the maximum slope for the ADA ramp is like 8.3%. So what do you do if your roadway and sidewalk grade is like 10% or 11%?
I mean, first of all, this is not ramp, this is sidewalk, but yeah, sidewalk maximum slope has to be 2%. And yeah, roadway grade can I mean, there are two things here. It's called cross slope. Cross slope has to be always 2% for a sidewalk, but the running slope, it has to match with the roadway. So it can go, I believe, up to 10% or something. So the running slope.
Yeah, in that case, you can. If the roadway slope is 10%, there is no way you can meet the ADA criteria just for the sidewalk, because the sidewalk, I mean, otherwise you will be changing the grade. You will have to replace. Yeah.
Yeah, if your running slope of the
Yeah, running
longitudinal
slope can be
roadway
more than
sidewalk
2%.
is,
Yeah, more than 2% it can have, running slope. Because remember, we do these ramps, so we have like 8.3%. And if it's a new construction, you can go for like 9.3. So I think you can running slope, it can be more than 2%, but the cross slope at all times has to be 2%, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if the roadway grade is steeper than 5-6%, 5-6%, then that means the roadway might not be AASHTO compliant. Based on AASHTO, I believe the absolute, the maximum grade, I think it's 5-6%. But for the driveways, I think they even allow 13-14%, but it's depending on the jurisdiction where you are designing the roadway, if they follow the AASHTO completely or not. Sometimes the county roads, they even allow you to go with 12%, 10% grades on the driveways accessing the roadway. But for the main line, if you are following AASHTO, it's non-compliant.
Well, there's a lot of.
I think it's a
existing
10% grade.
Yeah,
grade,
you
right?
can go
Not
10%, Kwaku. I think we have done that before, and it's a good
think it's
question, Tim.
I'm talking about like on an existing roadway where it's the longitudinal grade of the road and the sidewalk is like 10%. And if you try to insert one of these handicap ramps where you've got that 12-to-1 slope, I mean, the roadway is already steeper.
Yeah.
What do you do in that case?
So,
Yeah, I mean, we have to match the roadway slope basically. And I'm not sure if you went to the downtown office or if you have attended any ASHI meetings and you parked your car right in front of the 707 building and you went to that area where they have these ASHI meetings near the monument. The sidewalks over there are crazy. And it's hard to even walk and go through those areas, right, Jack?
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school, I walked home from school every day up Elm Road in Arbutus, and that was like 10%, 11% slope. So I know there's a lot of existing roadways in Baltimore County that are like steep slopes. So I was just finding, what guidelines do they have when you're trying to put in a ramp, the handicap crosswalk ramp, but the roadway grade is already steep.
Yeah, in that case, I don't think you can put the sidewalk right next to the roadway because whenever you put the sidewalk right next to the roadway, both the grades have to be matching or within. When I say matching means the sidewalk grade is 8 to 10 inch higher than the existing roadway. So in that case, sometimes they realign the sidewalk away from the roadway.
yeah, you need
If
some
they have to
buffer.
if they have to absolutely meet the ADA criteria for the sidewalk, they will realign away from the roadway. That way they can have separation from the roadway and probably have some kind of wall kind of structure. That way, sidewalk can be different grade compared to the roadway grade.
Okay, since we are talking, I covered this in my last presentation, Tim, but I will take you now on the page where we have this on the manual. Let me share that and we can see what criteria they have for the sidewalk. Just 1 minute. Let me share that. Okay, you guys can see it, right? This is the page 13 of the ADA manual. Is still loading or you guys can see it? If anyone can confirm, then I can proceed and go through all these bullet points they have here.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so this is the section where they talk about the sidewalk and it has all the guidelines and what criteria it has to meet to be ADA compliant. So the first one they talk about here is the width, and that has to be 60 inch. And remember I said the minimum It can be 36 inch, but you have to submit a design waiver, and there is no guarantee they will approve it. Before doing that, you need to exhaust all the options, you know. I mean, whatever could be reason, there could be some utility or right of way or whatever. There could be some issue where you cannot provide the 60 inch, then you can go with the minimum and submit that waiver. Okay, and they have the second bullet point. It talks about the bridge here or a large culvert. So on the bridge or large culvert, looks like the minimum width has to be 68 inch. So just keep that in mind. And the third bullet they talk about is if the width for the travel is less than 16, then using a passing zone of 60 by 60 every 200 feet, like we discussed a few minutes ago. And then the fourth bullet talks about the running slope for sidewalk adjacent to existing and reconstructed road shall not be limited. So there is no limitation on that. See that? The running slope, they don't have any limitation, and it says it recommends following the ASHTO, you know. With the running adjacent roadway, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, it has to follow the adjacent roadway slope. Great. Go ahead, Shaq. You want to say something?
Yeah, on the third bullet, the 68 inch on the bridge. Tim, confirm me if I'm wrong. The 8 inch additional 8 inch that is coming is because of the top of the top width of the curb, right? That includes the
That's
top
what it
top width
says
of the curb.
Yeah, it says about the curb and gutter also. Yeah, where there is no separately poured and formed curb and gutter. That's where you need 68 inch.
Okay.
You're right. Okay, so and the 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one talks about the right of way. I mean, where conditions and right of way allow, sidewalks may be separated from roadway to make grade adjustment possible. And the sixth one talks about the cross slope, which has to be maximum 2%. And in new, you can have 1% tolerance, which is in the next bullet where you see that tolerance thing. And the eighth one says sidewalk must be constructed of a uniform material. Yeah, it has to be uniform material, which usually is concrete in our case, you know. But some jurisdictions, they might ask you to do some brick patterns or something in the sidewalk for aesthetics purpose. Otherwise, you have to use concrete. And in rare cases, there could be instances where you can use porous concrete sidewalk. I mean, I don't know, I have done that before, but Shaq, have you done any porous sidewalk?
No,
Anywhere on your,
nobody
any
likes it.
of your? No, right?
Yeah, nobody likes it because of the maintenance issues.
Maintenance will be like a big issue. And then the last bullet talks about the vertical elevation. It's called lip. Whenever, sometimes what happens, these sidewalks after wear and tear, or if it was not properly done, or for, I don't know, could be any reason, they settle down. And then you will see like a gap between the two blocks of sidewalk. It's called lips, and it cannot exceed 1/4 of an inch because it will be a tripping hazard. Then if you have more than 1/4 of that, then the sidewalk is not compliant. You need to replace that portion of the sidewalk. All right, so basically this is what the guideline is for the sidewalk. I think they covered all of it. It covers your running slope question also, Tim, here. And we need to follow all these. So any of these criteria is not met, then the sidewalk is not compliant. Similarly, they have for ramps and stuff. You guys can go ahead and go through it. I think most of the stuff was covered from these in my previous presentation. I took the main points and incorporated in that presentation, and it's on the YouTube. You can, if you want to go ahead, watch it. But you have more information in this manual. So the presentation has most of the information which is critical, but I would recommend to go with the manual, which it has way more information than the presentation. Okay, let's go back to
So,
what you would.
Can I-
You want to add anything to
Can I
that,
add
Sean?
on?
Or someone? Go ahead.
Yeah, can I add on to Tim's question?
Go ahead.
So-
Go ahead.
I think when your roadway grade exceeds 5%, all sidewalk outside of the ramp can match that roadway grade, which allows you to tie in easier when you get to the ramp to maintain that 12-to-1 and that 2% for your landing area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. So like you should still have a 12-to-1 leading up to your landing area. Because if you think about it, you don't want a wheelchair like slipping too fast or going down too fast, potentially falling off the landing area from the ramp itself.
So yeah, as you said, even if your running slope of the roadway is, steeper, at ramp locations, there is no exception. All the ramps have to be AD compliant.
But you should be able to tie in if you follow the roadway grade for the rest of the
Ramp
sidewalk.
is not an exception. Only for the sidewalk you can do the running slope match, but the ramp, they have to be following that criteria. If it is parallel, they need to follow that criteria. If it is perpendicular, all those slopes have to be met and the widths have to be met, Oh man, I thought it will be a quick thing, but it's going long. So let's move on to the next one. Let's try to not have another session. Okay. So this one, go ahead, Kwaku. I mean, since you're talking, so go ahead. What do you think is the issue here?
Well, I don't see a tie-in, like any sidewalk connection. Let's see.
Yeah, there is no sidewalk and it's not actually needed, but sometimes what happens is the clients for future development, they will ask you to put some kind of ramp like that. I mean, the detectable also is not good.
It's not a different surface.
And the ramp also, I'm not sure if the slopes are correct and stuff. And first of all, you should not have a ramp at this location, so.
Yeah, right next to the guardrail.
Okay, yep. So this one is fairly simple. I mean, you can see that pedestrian push button is way far. It's ridiculous. I don't know whoever put that. Maybe this was done way before ADA even came into picture. I don't know, but this is not right. This has to be, they have to bring it in this case close to the level landing area. All right. So how about this one? Anyone want to take a shot? Looks like the same thing, You don't have that. It looks like it is like a perpendicular, and you don't have that level in the back, How about this one? Tim, you want to say something about this one? I mean, I think everyone understands. I mean, you have. I mean, you cannot access it. You have this dump. I mean, this dumpster over there on top of it, and I'm not sure if you have that clear
5x5 landing area.
or at least the 36 minimum also doesn't look like you have it.
Yep.
How about this one? Anyone? Let's see who can answer this one.
The stop line is past the ramp. It looks like
You are correct. What it should be?
it should be 4 feet behind.
I mean, the ramp should be in front of the stopper,
Or
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. How about this one? It's the same thing. I mean, sometimes they do it because the client asks you to do something for future purposes. Otherwise, you don't need a ramp here, you know. Same thing here, right? You have this is a before picture, and then you have a after picture where you see that push button is.
Can you go to the
Where,
before picture? Let's
go ahead.
what's the issue here? Is there an issue with this before?
Yeah, I think the slopes were not good. You know, I mean, even though it looks like a flat area, so the slopes were not good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the landing should be right next to the push button, right? You can clearly tell that that panel sidewalk next to the push
I
button
mean,
is
it is a panel. It doesn't show you like you have a ramp over there, basically, you know.
I mean, the push button itself is way far
Too
from the
far.
roadway anyways, like 10, 15 feet from the edge of the roadway. By the
Yeah.
time, you know, the handicapped person pushes the button, he has to walk additional 5 feet within that yellow time, or within that pedestrian time on the road, safe roadway, before he
No, I
gets
mean,
to
you
the
might
actual
have
roadway.
those instances if you see this after picture is the same case. The person has to push it and then he has to come there because you don't have, I mean, even here it's not right because even after doing this, like you said, Shaq, see, it's still far. I mean, sometimes even after the design, it's not done properly, you know, if somebody is not paying attention.
Yeah,
So
I think the push button should be moved right next to that drum.
So there could be, so never think like something is new, then it is good and it is compliant. I have seen many times it's a brand new sidewalk ramp, but you measure the slopes, you measure the widths, they don't meet. And it could be any reason. I mean, maybe the design was not done right, or maybe the contractor did not do it right. So it could be anything. So. Same thing here. And this is the right way to do it, you know. You have the right slopes and stuff. And you have one more. I don't want to go in deep, just wanted to show some pictures where they had issues and they corrected and stuff. So this was the passing zone or the bump out. And this is the right way where you have the, you know, right way. If you follow the 65502 correctly, then you will have that done properly. Yeah, actually, I was thinking this presentation will not go more than like not even half an hour, but we were able to extend it with all your input and interaction. And the next item was sample plans. I mean, I joined Brudis last year, but I don't have any sample plan where we went all the way through the construction. I mean, I have some sample plans where I can share, but they are still in design stage. Let me bring it up. Just 1 minute. Again, I'm sharing this your project, Gerard, which we started like last year, and now you are in PI stage, right? Still.
Yes.
Okay, I'm bringing that sample set. You guys can see it, right? Where is our first sheet? This one is the first sheet. Okay, you guys can see it or no?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So this is still in progress. We are waiting for the concept approval on this one. Then it will go for the PI. So here you can see that you have there was no sidewalk in when we took this project, and we have new sidewalk and new driveways shown here. So let's look into one of these. So this is the driveway here. Okay, so I see you did not put those lines here, Gerard. You need to put these lines here also. This is how many feet you have, this buffer?
It's
3 feet,
it's 2 feet.
2 feet. So I
Yes.
think you need to add those lines here. I mean, that's what I have done. And so you have this, okay, Gerard, which type of driveway is this? You have it labeled here, let me see. Yeah, 63002, right? So this is what, residential?
Yes, it's a residential driveway. So
Okay,
the sidewalk there existing was 4 feet. And so we're making it 5 feet sidewalk, and you can see kind of to the right of that driveway we have, like, the bump out because there was a pole there, but we're not removing that pole. So
yeah.
we made that passing zone.
Yeah, I would, you labeled it, let me see if you might have labeled it 65502, right? Then you need to put that standard over there, whenever you're doing that, because they need to follow that standard, basically. So it's always a good idea to label that. So this is a residential, so how about the height of the curb here you have? 6 inch,
It should be the 8-inch curb.
8 inch curb, so you are covered with here, and then you are going only how many feet? 3 feet flares on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah, so you follow that 63002 standard, right? Based on that, you have these flares. Because you have that H, right? You need to calculate, you need to know that H, and then you come up with the number of flares and stuff like that, right? Okay, I mean, we can verify it later. So just wanted to share with you guys how we design the sidewalk, and we do the layout for the sidewalk, and we do the layout for the driveway and these passing zones. And sometimes what happens is you have to put additional asphalt in the back. Go ahead, Gerard, why you did that? Let everyone know what was the reasoning behind that.
Well, in certain places, I think the curb moved up, and also just to tie back in to the existing driveway, um, we had to add, additional asphalt to make
Yes.
sure it's smoothly tied in.
Yeah, there might be steeper slopes. So the slope mean what is the max you need to have?
For which one?
The back slope behind the driveway. What is the max you can go?
I believe it's 8%, but I'll have to double check on that.
Yeah, I mean, there could be places where the driveway tie-ins could go way far, but we use like 10% slope and try to tie in as less as possible. Hopefully using that, you don't have to, because there will be some negotiations between the SHA and the private property owner, and SHA, I believe they will only try to do up to their right of way, other time, I mean, it has to be a talk between the client, I mean, SHA and the private property, and so that they can come to an agreement and I mean, do the tie-ins only wherever they agree, So, okay, I think this is all I had. I think it's already 1 o'clock. Anyone have any questions or want to add anything? If not, thank you all for participating and making it interactive. You know, I mean, most of the theory was already covered in the last session, so I had only few slides. I was thinking this will go like 15-20 minutes or 30 minutes max, but we were able to stretch it out. I hope this session was helpful. You might have learned something out of it. Okay, some people already left. Okay. All right. It was good.
Thank you.
It was good session, you guys think?
Yep, that was good.
Okay. All right. And like I said, the manual, ADA manual is the one. Always refer to that and go with that. I mean, these presentations are good to just go through the gist and stuff, but always refer to the manual and follow those guidelines and put those standards on the plans, you know, either in the construction notes or by label or something, because we are not innovating. I was talking to Rachel this morning. We are not innovating anything. There will be very rare case where we're gonna innovate. We are supposed to follow all the standards and guidelines, because if we don't, then they will not approve it. So there might be instances where there will be something you might have to come innovative, but those have to be approved by the client, whoever it is, you know. So, all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
You can have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.